What's going on, everybody? I think I don't know, like over here in the United States, this day is a bittersweet, somber day, somber overall. For obvious reasons. Um, Sweet because it's another day for people to be great. Somber for this day memorializes a horrific event that took place 24 years ago. It's crazy. 24 years has already passed. 24 years have already passed since the Twin Towers fell. I remember that day like it was yesterday. And for 24 years to have already passed. Next year will be 25. Wow. Quarter of a century. My goodness. Time waits for no one. Time more than flies. Like and then when you think about, for those of us that we could remember 24 years ago what it was like, can you imagine all the events that took place between then and now? Like just in that span of time, within 24 years, all the changes, all the events, all the experiences that we've encountered and then come to pass. It's crazy. It's really like what you do today will affect what happens to you in the future. I think in light of even what happened yesterday, like on the news or it's just so much going on. Like, where people are really not applying. I don't know. I can't even make general statements like that because I don't know everyone in the world. But it just in general, if you just are blessed to open your eyes and see another day, why can't you find a way to just make things a little better for yourself? If not for anybody else, at least for yourself. So many people walk around with bad energy, bad vibes, with anger, aggression, hate, fury, rage, and it spills out. It spills over to everything around you. When you wake up and you're in a state when you're upset, more often than not, someone you encounter is gonna feel your energy. Why live in that type of condition and existence? It's sad. Like, you know, you got events taking place, and it's just so much propaganda that follows events that occur, where it could almost blind you, just to program you into thinking one thing when it might be something else. But you're just so emotionally charged, where now become, in a sense, victimized, where you're seeking relief, and then you're more you remain in a state of desperation, aggravation. It just festers and grows, and it's nasty, man. It's just nasty, man. David Haynes, what's going on? It's crazy. It's a interesting statement. Right? Take your gift elsewhere. Mm, 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 mm. It's very difficult. Hey, Sonny, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on? Eagle AI, I see you. I see you. It's weird, man. Like you know, the what you put out, you get back. DOC with the Master Glizzy in the building. You join the members, y'all. Salute, 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 salute. Let me do something real quick, man. Like when you, I don't know, but like it's hard. I don't even know anymore. No, who has the answers? Like who has the answers? It's just crazy the stuff that's going on from a external macro level to the micro of micro to your own home and your own life. Keep fighting though. You can't. You got to keep fighting. You have to find a way to persevere. Persevere. I was in a haze 24 years ago when this thing happened. Like I was in a haze, like a dream state, nightmarish. Like what? Like even in when you look at history, when you look at history and you see the events, you learn about events that have taken place before us, horrific things that have happened, right? And you're like, wow, these people. And then somehow throughout all these worldly events that take place historically since the beginning of time, we managed to still be here. We managed to be alive. Post cataclysmic events, post traumatic, all kinds of crazy stuff. We managed to still be here, right? So someone decided in our lineage, in our family line, to push forward. Someone decided to not give up. Someone decided to keep the faith. Keep on keeping on. I'm glad whoever on my side decided to not give up didn't give up. So it's only right in my mind to keep pushing through all the foolishness, through all the madness, through all the pains, through all everything, because there's a flip side to all of that. Or else, what is this all about, right? You have to keep pushing. You have to push forward, you know? And it's true. Like DOC says, we have to heal to make the world a better place. Like seriously, we have to take care of ourselves. We have to take care of ourselves. And It all starts with ourselves. You want to see the change, you become the change. You become the change. We can't change people the way we'd like, the way we would imagine, the way we would love to change people. Folks that are dealing with all kinds of social problems and ills and medical issues and trials and tribulations. We'd love to help, cast a wand in the air and let all their problems disappear, but that's not how things work. It's not how things go. It's just not reality. But what we can do is heal ourselves, recover from stuff, right? Take care of ourselves, man, so we could be successful and help others become successful just by them watching what we're doing and show by example. Embody integrity, embody honor, embody respect, right? Like you don't know, you never know when your days are numbered. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why not? Why not shoot for the moon in your quest to be great? It's crazy, bro. It's crazy, bro. Everybody got their own opinions, their own ideas, their own way to think. People come up with their own thoughts and think like their thought is the best thought. It becomes a thing where, it's you versus me. If you sleep with my woman, it's eternal war. You know what I mean? It's me versus you. My ego bruised. You're gonna pay for that forever. For as long as your descendants will pay for that. Like that's just crazy, bro. Like this but all of that, these types of situations got us to where we are today, bro. Too many mysteries that exist that you just can't really decode and decipher, because then you'll just drive yourself mad and waste a lot of precious time and wondering what did you do with your life. So in the meantime, instead of trying to beat your bird chest and act like your philosophy is the absolute best philosophy in the world, table that, understand that other people have perspectives too, understand that people have great ideas, there are great minds all over the planet. Like, people got things to do, man. We're a collective. Let's get it together and handle our business. But you always have some type of adversarial, some negative, opposite situation where they just want to take, destroy, 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 destroy for their own whimsical, needs. Is crazy, bro. At what cost? What lengths? The propaganda is crazy. Imagine, like I never thought, who would have ever thought, and maybe people did think, but didn't think it would actually happen, that a few years ago the entire world was on lockdown for years. Who would have thought? I mean, like, you could be conspiratory theorists till you're blue in the face, tinfoil hat. You got your hat, Reynolds wrap, aluminum foil. You just been like, yo, this is that, and this deep state, this and that, elitist, globalist, all kinds of agenda going on, this and that. But for it to really materialize, certain things to really occur where the entire world together was just like, yo, you can't go outside because of this invisible monster that's going out here, killing people physically, mentally, and spiritually. That's crazy. We're still dealing with the effects from that. That's because the people in these media conglomerates want to tell you, oh, yeah, it's over, it's not a thing. No, we're still dealing with all the ramifications of that and will for the foreseeable future. And I feel sorry for the youth who had to endure that. I feel sorry because I see the effects even with the children and how they've been affected and adversely impacted by that. Their social skills have been impacted by that. Their well-being have been overall impacted by not being able to see their friends. Just to see their friends. Forget about just the important things of education. Not being able to interact and socialize with your peers. That shit got taken away. You were just locked down in a box, literally like you were a prisoner against your will. And then after they tell, oh, everything good now, go back to business. Like there's not going to be any consequences. Come on, bro. Eagle AI, like is real, man. When it comes to that, like with this comment, yeah, man. I'm a simple man, bro. Like I'm a simple man. Like I, you know, I don't. How can I deal with common sense, bro. Like I sometimes I try to apply some critical thinking, right? But on the surface, how are you going to be told what to do, or being strongly encouraged and told what to do? Because we all have free will. We can decide whether we want to accept whatever or not. We decide what we want to do or not do, blah blah blah. But in this case, when we're talking about finances, when we're talking about controlling our finances better, utilizing technology that's available to us to control ourselves, our lives, master our lives a little better by owning, controlling our finances from somebody who doesn't have the faintest idea of what it's like to take care of their own children, and they're giving you information pretending as if they know more than you about what it is to succeed in life, and they have no progeny whatsoever. There's a disconnect there. That's an imbalance. That's a conflict for me. Like, no, bro, that math doesn't add up. The math doesn't add up, bro. You're supposed to be, some of us, I remember when I didn't have children, when I was single. Life is not the same. Life was different, right? Like it was different. You felt different. You lived differently. Your experiences were different until until your likeness was now multiplied in the soul of your child, duplicated in the soul of your child. Now, everything changes instantly. For those of us who care, for responsible parents who care, responsible fathers who care, Your life no longer yours anymore in the sense of just you out here living for you. No, you're living for your child. A person like that person, like, you know what I'm saying, won't get that, won't understand what that even means. And it's the twisted part about it is, let's say he eventually does have a child. I still don't think he would really understand what that is, bro. That's the crazier part. Because of the way dude's been performing and acting, and I could be dead wrong. Something changes when you have children, automatically. Something changes, bro. People who know. It's innate. It's within you. You're awake. You like, oh no, something else is happening here. This ain't just about me. This ain't just about me. And I'll be damned if I'm gonna let something happen to my child and I don't have anything to do with it. I have nothing to say about it. You know what I'm saying? You standing, you protecting, you loving, you providing. And it's through the way you protect, the way you rear, right? The way you raise, the way you discipline, the way you guide, all that falls under love. Show me, explain to me, how can somebody who's childless exemplify that level of love to anybody else? Come on, man. Then, then you got these brainwashed people. Like, that's the most kind thing I could say. Like, who are supposed to be men, who are supposed to be parents, right? Fathers within themselves, chasing after this guy and his rhetoric. 24/7, you participate in a world in a capacity that a childless person could never understand. 24/7, you're an authority, you're a leader for your child, you're your child's hero in their eyes. You're doing the best you can to raise them in a world that's beautiful and is also could be so challenging and treacherous. And you doing your best to field and navigate through all of that madness, the maze of the beautiful tapestry of craziness. And you want to listen to somebody who don't know, have the faintest idea what that even is, and act like they hold the ticket, the key to govern, to help you govern your life better as a man. That's not a man, bro. That's not a man, like, and because it's about downplaying. Like, we've heard, and I don't know if you've heard, but I've heard him downplay things like, oh, sure, you don't have to agree or not. My thing is not even about, the institution of you uniting with somebody else, marriage and all that. But it's not even. It's about, yo, you're a parent, so you're a father, you're a man, you're a father. What are you doing to guide your children? Because shit happens in life. But what are you doing as a parent, regardless whether you married, you single, whether you in a union, because things can happen. Marriages can dissolve, huh? Divorces can occur, annulment. People transition, they pass away, all this. But if you're still alive and your child is alive, you're still a parent. How are you leading them? You're gonna listen to somebody on the internet who you'll never meet, or maybe some of you have meet, and glaze them ad infinitum? To what end? Glaze them. They got no idea that you're the hero more than they are. You sold yourself out, believing in somebody else who don't have the faintest idea of your suffering. Well, it doesn't have the faintest idea of not even how you're suffering, but the inner joy that you really experience when you take care of the progeny that really exemplifies what true wealth is, in addition to your health. In some circles of life, in some communities in life, children represent wealth, bro. But that's not celebrated by these people who are extremely ignorant to that fact. They just not experiencing that. They living in a different reality and want to downplay your responsibilities as a father figure. Miss me with the stupidity, the ignorance, the absolute foolishness, bro. My man said, dude is gonna teach his kid the 3 minute workout. Yo, DOC is out of control, bro. A person like him with that type of mentality, and this is not DOC, a person like that founder with the that type of mentality, he's stuck in his childhood in a way too. Pretends like he's not, but there was something that you could tell he didn't receive growing up. You could tell. And it's not an affront, it's not a whatever, it's just an observation. I could be all the way wrong. But whatever you were supposed to receive as a little kid, you did it. And your get back is what you've been doing in your adult years, getting back, revenge. This is what people do, human behavior. This is what we do. Oh, you treated me like garbage as a child, subconsciously, consciously, whatever. I'm gonna act out because I'm human. And I'm gonna show you my displeasure. I'm gonna show you the deep disdain I have for you for not giving me what I needed when I was young and growing up. So I will either be on the run, or I will either stay away. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be a part of this. I'll just disappear because number one, I didn't like the experience growing up with you. Number two, I feel a way that's not nice. And I didn't forget because that experience of what I didn't receive affects me to this day. And until people like him realize some stuff like that, they're gonna continuously live like a man child. And to think that you have how many numbers of people in the world right now waiting for dude to pump a chain is mortifying, bro. That's crazy. Like that's why I'm just like, yo, this you waiting for this nondescript, childless man child to pump your chain. It allows me to believe dude ain't the guy. There's no way. You see, this is the thing, because people don't like to think. They don't like to really, really, really take the time to reflect and observe and study what's going on in front of them for whatever it's worth. And I say study is because when your money's involved, when you have some freaking money involved in some stuff, maybe you should kind of treat it and look at it like it's sort of important. Because this thing is on a scale teetering on which way you're gonna go. You're just banking on somebody's emotional or his word and messaging about some glory and hoping that something materializes, something clicks in his head, and he says, "Okay, pump. Today's the day. Pump, pump, pump." That's what everybody's waiting for. Does that even make sense? And why hasn't it happened yet? All of the stuff we've seen. We want to make the world a better place. This is one of the ways you could see the opportunity, you could see the chance, the potential involved to help make the world a better place by alleviating yourself from whatever financial struggles you're dealing with. That can help for sure make the world a better place. And you playing these games with people, been playing these games like the man child that you are, I'm gonna believe him because he's showing me who he is. He's been showing everybody who he is. Been showing everybody who he is. Good, bad, middle, ugly, whatever, everything. Been showing people who he is, right? And at some point though, because this person loves attention, and that level of attention that he once received got cut since he launched his chain, or since his chain got launched. I'm not even gonna say since he launched it. Since his chain got launched, his voice got cut tremendously. His presence on the cut tremendously. You think that was something that was like his choice? Maybe, maybe not. Some people think, oh, his team, once he got sued or investigated and they threw his ass in court, got embroiled in that battle. He was advised, yo, shut up because you wild with it. You crazy. You reckless anyway. You tweaking in front of peacocks and splitting your legs in front of men on a stripper pole. You out of bounds, man. You out of pocket. So don't talk because you make shit worse for yourself. You cringe. You don't talk anyway. Nah, it's because he's not the one really behind the entire situation. A person who bragged about bring your heroes here, right? To lose every debate. Bring your heroes here to die and bring your people, recruit your onboard, the folks you want to adopt, bring more followers to thrive. And all of a sudden, in your life, moments later in your life, you can't talk, is because somebody told you can't talk. More than just about some legal, it might make sense on the surface so people really don't care. And you watch it on the surface, or you got a court case or whatever you say may or may not be used against you in a court of law. Or you got these expensive attorneys, even though you cheap as F. You said that you cheap, but you got the most expensive attorneys to save your cheeks. It might just be a little bit more than just the attorneys telling you to be quiet. Because since then, you beat the case and you still quiet. So the whole time, was it just the attorneys telling them to just don't talk or don't talk enough or just, silence, basically censor after you just threw a gimmick out there telling people that this chain, blockchain is code, code is speech, sacrifice for this chain, freedom of speech, and now your tongue is cut, you censored? How? You're not fighting the case anymore. Oh, but because some Interpol. So what? What? Nobody even know. That's not even. People not even clear like that. That got nothing to do with the SEC or whatever, whatever. But you still can't talk. Other people got thrown in jail. People meaning I put that in quotes. Other blockchain founders got thrown in jail. Came out and paid a $4 billion ticket. You see them worrying about not talking to anybody, living their life. But your guy, this nondescript founder, you do weird things by saying on social media you don't communicate on social media at all. Meanwhile, that's what gave you relevance, was communicating. That's what birthed your, in addition to your 10,000x accomplishment manipulation, just your presence online gave you relevance, gave you notoriety, built your popularity. It's what you love, the attention. People made a movie in your likeness. You love that. Yeah, you love all that. Pay attention to you. And that got cut because somebody clipped you and said, nah, you can't do this. You're not doing this. Think about it. But folks don't want to think about it. People, you see, is true. When the truth hurts, it really does. It's scathing. It can be scathing. It can hurt your morale. It can do something to you mentally, right? Folks don't want to accept it. But you're not going to tell me, not for a second, a person like him, you got 1.6 billion in 6 months. He got 1.6 billion in 6 months. May 2022 comes around. You mentioned something loosely about, oh, it's gonna happen in 2 weeks, and you got cooked for it because it didn't happen in May of 2022, and some nondescript person who's alleged to be a billionaire hollered at you on the internet talking about him and his friends from the Middle East are not pleased with him. Basically threatened him. Threatened him. Oh, he was cooked. And it was public. Wasn't behind the scenes, nothing. It was public. Because your 15 devs, you got. You know, you gave the wrong timeline, and then he was just like, "No, I'm not giving no more timelines because you guys, lambasted me after I gave a wrong timeline. I'm not giving any more timelines anymore." And then it wasn't until the following year, an entire year later, that the thing launched. Why? Because he's not the guy. You could be like, the dude told the world he's not a developer, yo. He told the world he's not a developer. He's just a talker. Collects information and ideas, puts it together, and speaks about it in a way to make you believe and feel like, yo, this guy knows what he's talking about. There's nothing wrong with that. But this is what he does, is talk. It's what he's been doing, is talking. It's what he's been doing for a long time. Talk, 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 talk. You talk about, all of a sudden, it's about these watches. These watches, what, 2021? All these watches or this and that, watches, expensive watches. Why? Because that's when the ERC20 that allowed you to create your claim to fame was moving up to 10,000x that year. So there was some money coming in. So, you could just do your 1, 2, boom, 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 get a little extra bread and buy things that you always wanted to buy. What's wrong with that? Nothing really wrong with that, but we could tell when people coming into a newfound amount of money, those that like attention, right? Those that like to show off. You get yourself a bag of money. What's the money going to do? Highlight who you are, right? I'm going to show you about a little watch set I got going on right here. I'm going to show you about a little teddy bear I got right here that's custom made, weird. You know what I mean? Little pouch, little hat here, visor. I'm going to show you about some stuff I got right here that's super expensive. All of a sudden, you're doing that. You didn't do that in 2020 in lockdown season. 21 was lockdown season too, but you weren't doing all that then. But you serial entrepreneur, millionaire. Folks don't add shit up. People don't like to add things up, bro. People don't like to add things up. And before I used to look at it different when you used to say, people used to ask them, yo, who owns the OA? And one of the things he would say was, maybe it's owned by an African priest. And I used to look at him like, yo, son, you wildin', man. Don't play like that. I know African priests. And they're nothing to play with. She talking about? But that's me. I'm joking. He's just, talking crap. Maybe it's owned by Apple. Maybe you're not the guy. Maybe you haven't been the guy. Maybe you're just a mouthpiece being puppeteered. That's it. Because if you were the guy, if you were the guy who says you want to die on the hill of glory, you want to die on this hill of glory, you lost control. A person like him who loves to be in control, you could tell. If it ain't about him, forget everything else. You praise grifters. You praise grifters because you're not the guy. You have no choice but to praise grifters because the grifters got more say than you do. The grifters got more control. They got you by the gonads. Okay? It's documented. I'm not making this up. Do your research if you care. I wouldn't do my research on this at this point because, come on, man. It's just too much. Anybody coming in that's new that want to discover on some Pulse Chain, yo, may the force be with you. In the words of Yoda, may the force be, may force you be with. May force you be with. And then you got a Roman Catholic priest, and deliver us from evil. And then you got an African priest talking Asheo. Yeah. Good luck. If you coming into Pulse Chain and you want to do some research about the history of all this stuff, be ready to, yo, you gonna be, look, man. This is something that people, case studies will be, scrutinized and analyzed in academic halls and institutions for the foreseeable future. Maybe at some point in our lifetime, who knows? But they got to study this. Oh, you got a lot to get to work with. All types of theories and stuff you could test and draw all kinds of conclusions. Hive mentality, grifting, all that. Oh man, it's just whatever you want, you find. But dude ain't the guy. I don't believe he's a guy like that. Like he want you to believe he is. I don't think so, bro. I don't think so. No. I don't think so anymore. Nope. Nope. Because you talk about decentralization and all that. So you lost control. Because it's one thing to say, okay, ERC20 you launch and that created your relevance. It's another thing to deal with an entire blockchain. And you can theoretically be on the level kind of correct when you say, oh yeah, I don't want anybody building on the blockchain. If it was up to me, I'll just want my tokens. In a fantasy world where you running your own operation, that kind of makes sense, but it didn't make sense at the same time too, because it's an entire blockchain. What blockchain that you know is only gonna have 4 tokens cooking on the chain? Name any. It didn't even make sense then. It was just his whimsical thing. You want to just Tourette syndrome, fly this, blah blah blah, Freudian slip. You want to say all this, but maximalists ran with it. And for a time, I bought into that and I ran with that. I'm like, yeah, forget about these other projects. It's Pulse Chain or no chain. 4 coins. Make it make sense. You copied an entire network. You forked an entire network. You think it only had 4 coins on that network? What do you think was, Dude ain't the guy, bro. He just a mouthpiece. You don't think, let me tell you something. Like I've been saying recently, and I've been saying it a while ago, though, he's tapped in. Like, in other words, there are people he communicate with. You can't tell me there isn't. How did this whole weird marketing campaign materialize if you're not in communication with anyone? Let that marinate. How does that work? If you're not in communication with anyone, how and who are you gonna let know that you got some shipping container that's supposed to have these whatever nondescript packages, and it's supposed to go somewhere. Who knows? It's supposed to land somewhere, and somebody now has to go get to the shipping container, open it, and then unload the mother in some kind of vehicle that, and there's no communication. Oh, but I don't communicate with anybody on the internet. I don't do this. I don't do that. I don't do this. And the only platform that he been using is X, formerly known as Twitter. Yo, people cannot be that this gullible. It, I mean, it's to the point where people, even not even people, only one person in the community really was saying, "Yo, this dude don't even have his. He's not in control of. He can't be in control of his social media accounts anymore because of the way he's been performing." But that also adds to an understanding that I don't think he's the guy. Everybody saying on in public, even myself, yo, forget about all these shenanigans. Pump the market. You do it. You pump the market. You pump it. After all this time, what do you think of somebody's waiting for? The perfect you waiting for all the planets to align in the universe? You waiting for the perfect timing. How many blood moons have to come and go? Longitude, latitude. You waiting for some cosmic alignment to take place to reach your glory. You position yourself to be some kind of pseudo political figure. You're going to give all kinds of political messaging on Twitter, left and right, even as recent as even yesterday with the shooting that took place in where Utah. Oh, you would like to, if you had a verifiable address, you would donate $10,000 to the family of the deceased. Politically trying to charge yourself and position yourself in a situation. You were campaigning for this the president that of the United States now before he was elected, campaigning heavy, positioning yourself. No one gave you any public support at all. None of them. They didn't even launch. The president didn't even launch his meme coin on Pulse Chain. He dubbed Pulse Chain and launched on Solana in January 2025. After you corralled and told the people, "Oh no, elect him, elect him. This is what it is. This and that," and then the people in the community were like, "Oh yeah, imagine the if RH is on the team, RH, JD Vance, Trump, RH, yeah, no, people don't like him. People didn't know. They don't respect." I keep telling y'all, it's just these things add up. It points in a certain direction to let me know your founder ain't in control like we'd like to believe. I don't think he's in control. I think he's being controlled. I think he's being handled. I think he's being manipulated. I think he's being told what to do and not do. This person who would talk about bring your heroes here to die and everybody else to thrive. Come over to this person is being controlled and told what to go sit down. Go sit down. Don't talk. Don't say nothing. Because if you do, face the consequences. Type thing like that. Like it's crazy. He's not. Nah, bro. Like, wake up, y'all. And I say that because not to say that I'm right, but I do believe he's communicating with people in the community because how else would things happen? You a 501c3, this and that, cargo van. Oh, yo, the marketing campaign and this and that. If you're not communicating, how does everything materialize? Think, people. Think. You beat the SEC and you still can't pump your chain. Yeah, we get it. Oh yeah, some people make excuses for everything. No, he doesn't want to give them money so that you could become, you dump and take the money. We know he's cheap. We know he's cheap. No, he's not gonna give the money because he can't give the money because he's not the guy who's in control of the money that we want to believe, or in control of the operations like we want to see. Oh, macro, this and that valuation is crazy. It's not enough. It's not enough. Make excuses all you want. 1.6 billion to pump the chain. Don't take that much to pump the chain. He just wants to make sure everybody gets shaken down. Yeah, this is the same philosophy that we were hearing 5 years ago with the ERC20 on the Ethereum network. Same philosophy. So you're gonna take that and apply it on the whole blockchain situation with a DEX, huh? And after beating some SEC regarding some jurisdiction that they didn't have, and you still can't show and prove that you were right and everybody was wrong. Imagine the frustration that dude dealing with. He's super frustrated because you can't do what you got. You can't do it. That's why he gets on tirades every now and then. But even that's to a minimum. It's clipped for him. Like I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you, y'all don't understand. You're doing pre-recorded videos. The background is janky. It's all dark. Nobody can see where you at because you scared telling the world you bulletproof. It's because you're not the person. I remember when the whole thing came out in 2020, people were talking. He wasn't even advocating for people to stake 15 years. It's your operation. It's your coin. This is your situation. You're like, I could see y'all staking for 10 years. Why? When your thing could allow for 15. What changed? The community, like I told you, folks, and he even acknowledged it. Yo, everybody's not stupid out here, bro. You're not the only intelligent sharp tool, fake sharp tool in the shed. You don't think that anyone else can see right through what he's talking about? You don't think there's other people out here in the world that are intelligent even more so than he is, bro? He's learning as he was going along, pretending like he had all the information. You know how that go? Some people they just read a book and they think that they know an entire discipline. That's him. How many recordings and streams you hear him talk? And he's like, this might be a little bit too complicated for you all because this is nerd stuff. This might be too complicated. This might be too complicated, and this and that, this and that, and that and this. And then you hear him spit. If you're not familiar with what he's spitting, you're gonna be like, "Oh, this dude on the level, yeah," because you naive and gullible. You don't know any better. You don't know what you don't know. But he can't dev. Imagine that. You're the giving tree. You say you're the giving tree, but you can't design, you can't develop, you can't program. You could describe and you can sell. You can market. You can be weird, like, do weird things. Rage marketing, do all that stuff, but you can't develop, you can't be a proponent doing the creating the building blocks of your operation. Man, he played all of us, y'all. Played all of us. Playing all of us. Like, it's be real, be for real, for real. And then you got certain people, handlers, whatever. You crapped on Satoshi, calling Satoshi a bitch. And what are you looking like? You're going to go and publicly declare Satoshi a bitch. And what have you been looking like? What are you? Because think about it too. How are you the guy and you made fundamental contradictions, but you're the guy? You contradicted yourself like it was in style. The man presented hypocrisy like it was the absolute thing to do, and you're the guy. Nah. Mm-mm. He got nothing else going for himself, man. Imagine the existence he's lived. You know what I mean? You got no one to really love and care about, like in your real life. That's sad, bro. Why would you take the time to? Because you created a situation where now you have people all over the world waiting, waiting, and waiting. And if things don't go the way it's supposed to go, it ain't gonna work out right for him, man. He don't understand that. And maybe he does, and he doesn't simply doesn't care. But if things don't materialize the way it's supposed to, bro, this ain't gonna be good for him, man. Major fail. Major fail. Major fail. You're not the guy. Somebody told you an influencer in the community had no shame saying, "Yo, you better apologize. I need an apology." He needs to apologize. And what did this guy do? But you, the founder, you. Oh no, it's because all these people got leverage over him. Leverage. He turned into something like it just became bigger than what he could imagine, bro. It's out of his hands at this point because it was basically never in his hands. It got to a point where when you started talking about everybody should stay 15 years, is because what? Someone introduced, forget, do your research if you care. I might have gotten this wrong or whatever, but wasn't it another person, a dev, had to come in and introduce T-Share and teach what the T-Share really was and how it works and what it really is? It wasn't this guy. We talked about 15 devs. The only dev that was public out of the 15 was maybe, you know, the Bretep guy or whatever. And, the other 14, you spent what? A little over $2 million for 14 devs. Meanwhile, you got 1.6 billion. That's your business though, but he's still cheap. He said he's cheap. Doing you, okay. Doing you, yeah. It's the middle of September. Approaching the middle of September. And you having people believe and talk about how 2026 is going to be the bull run still. Historically speaking, if you really look, even though it's not an indicator for future results, but historically, if you look at patterns, you look at the cycles, 2026 is supposed to be a bear, period. Nothing, no confusion about these people are telling you that this thing is going to, 2026 extended bull, a whole new situation is created. Why? Because you don't want to publicly admit defeat. Dude fell out of grace and it's bad. And y'all extending the pain. Just rip the band-aid off, deal with the situation and move forward, bro. That's all. Just do that. Just do that. The hypocrisy, the contradictions have been just crazy. And you're gonna tell me that's the leader. That's the leader. He's the mouthpiece. There have been many of them like that throughout crypto. A mouthpiece, you might have a little bit more under your belt in addition to being the mouthpiece, but you, like at this stage, 2.5 years later, fork of Ethereum, this and that, world's largest airdrop, that he himself said airdrops are worthless, but it's supposed to be free. This is what's supposed to catch the attention of the world, of the people. All this gimmicked out, marketing out. This is the marketing. The marketing has been happening since the end of 2019. Marketing. What more magical marketing, the best marketing, the marketing I've ever seen? Marketing. What more marketing? You know, marketing is falling flat. It's sad, bro. It's real though. But people gonna wait. We waiting. Yeah. No, he doesn't talk about staking anymore. Staking is not his thing anymore. He doesn't talk about staking and staking. What's that? Staking. Dude, don't talk about staking. What kind of language is that? Staking? No, there's no talk about staking. I don't think because it's like a sheer embarrassment. It's an absolute embarrassment. Like, talk about humiliation ritual. What Nori doors is he knocking on? What Nori doors is this guy knocking on? So you got $1.6 billion. People sacrifice all this fake ritualistic crypto, whatever, talk, blah, blah, blah. But you got it though. ICO, whatever you want to call it. So now because you got 1.6 billion, this is the thing. People, it's like, the higher you go, more money, more problems. Shout out Christopher Wallace, rest in peace, Biggie Smalls, more money, more problems, right? More money, more problems. You got 1.6 billion. So now you're gonna have to account for that. Now you got to go through the humiliation because you want to knock on some doors and it's about glory. You think you're gonna be glory by yourself? Is you versus globalists, elitists, and you move this like this? You're not connected and tapped. You listen, man, and it's different. Look at these other blockchain heads. Look at how they perform. Look how they move. For example, look at Justin Sun and what he's done in the last 8 years in crypto. And he wields power. Power. Giving you the heads up. He's already taken things over. He's already did his own. It wasn't even a community takeover. It was a head ninja in charge takeover. He's done it. Like it's nothing. I already mentioned CZ. You did 4 months in jail, came out, paid $4 billion and chilling. Binance just did an all-time high. What's this guy doing? Not the same league, not the same anything, not the same. Yo, the dude is out of his league. That's why he's not the guy, in my opinion. He's not. He's out of his league. He bit more than he can chew. It's just too much for him. And he can't admit that because that'll just rip him to shreds. That'll destroy him. Because it's like already defeated. Now it's just let's pray for whatever miracle to happen to make things. The chain works. You can say that. Yeah, sure, it works. Yeah. But don't think about like, oh, institutions are gonna come adopting or nah. It's degened out right now. It's grifters out, right? It's all grifters all over the chain. Degen, that's different situation. You thinking about a bull run and you letting these people tell you about some bull run extended in 2026, not just extended, but like the whole of 2026. People are telling you the bull run is going to extend into 2026 to give you this false hope and dreams that Pulse Chain is going to pump and break 100x, 500x, etc. in 2026 by itself. because they want to mask the whole idea is this: we're potentially going to miss the entire bull run cycle. The chain is probably going to miss the entire cycle. The bull run you should be thinking about is 2028, 2029, 28, 29, not 26. Wake up, folks. It's where we're at with it, man. It's where we're at. He ain't the guy, y'all. It's reckless. It's reckless. He's not the guy, y'all. You'll see. And ultimately, all this talk and gaslighting that he does too. What are you gonna say when you see 10,000x again? Be happy as F. What do you think? What do you think I'm gonna say? I'm gonna be happy as F. What if we don't see 10,000x again? Oh, well then I was proven right. Either way, I'll be right. My whole thing is with this situation, yo, you think I don't want to be proven wrong? You think I want to? I told y'all, my onboard came to me a couple days ago and showed me all the coins he invested in, all the coins, putting money on the chain. Showed me. The thing made me feel so sad. It was like kind of bittersweet. I'm like, wow, wow, he took it serious, and I'm glad for that. But I'm also, he don't know the other part, the other side, because I don't want to really burst his bubble. Let him enjoy, his moment. Let him have his moment. But like, people been putting in work. I've been putting in work. People been putting in work. Work, 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 work. When you talk about you want to see something done, you do it is because someone's telling you to do something and it burns you. Like you can't talk. Someone told you don't do that. Because if you had complete autonomy, why wouldn't you want to speak? Why wouldn't you want to talk? Why wouldn't you want to show? Why wouldn't you want to brag and boast like you used to do? This is what you came from. This is who you are. This is who you've been. Free self-help books, this and that. You want to make the world a better place, all this, that, this. You want to achieve glory in silence? That's not you. It's not him. He's silent because he's not in control. Understand that, folks. He's silent because he's not in control. Like you would want to think. All this was a psyop. All this was his method of shaking people out. Shaking people out. This, shaking people out. People allegedly committed suicide, and you still you don't care. Is shaking people out. People allegedly in the community committed suicide because they couldn't deal with the pressure of the poor price performance of Pulse Chain. Allegedly. Back in May of this year, this happened. People on their Twitter feeds will say RIP, RIP. And what that means to them? You think that had any effect whatsoever? It wasn't what? Salacious enough. It wasn't gonna, views or whatever. But you could talk about how you donate 10K to a young man huh? Who got shot in the neck. What about your own community? You're not in charge. You're not in control. Like he's not in control of. He barely in control of himself. Going through humiliation rituals, knocking on some kind of Nori crypto Illuminati doors or some Nori door. You're being humiliated. You want to be the top. You want to be the top dog. You're gonna have to eat excrement, eat caca, go through it. Yeah, you on a wanted list. Why? What is that? Make it make sense. You're on a wanted list. Oh, that's why he can't do nothing, Wonder, because he's on a wanted list. They looking for tax evasion and this and that. And you got another allegation about beating up a teenager. And that's who everybody say, yo, we waiting for him to push the buttons, push the levers, and all this and all that. He's not in control of all that. Made a complaint about how Pulse X V1 wasn't distributing any fees to anybody and that there was a bug, and you mad and got on the Twitter and talk about why didn't anybody discover this during the test net phase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 billion. Meanwhile, it was discovered and brought to his attention. But you the guy? You're not the guy. All these things that he came out with that he supported, and then change your mind, you no longer support anymore. How this is the lead? No, that's you banking your generational wealth on that. Instability, inconsistency, hypocrisy. But only the real recognizes what I'm talking about, man. And this is why I do this for the real people, the real folks. You know, we see the fake phony. You understand who they are. And I'm glad they identified who they are, because that's who I'll stay away from. Right? That's who I won't support and watch and listen to. And it's cool. I'm blessed either way. I'm blessed either way. But while this thing continues and goes on, I'm going to continue to document and talk and reflect and speak for the people who don't have a voice as well. Because I understand how this is also multifaceted. It serves many purposes. Many. Provokes thought, helps people understand they're not alone, right? Makes you want to just maybe debunk everything I'm saying or agree with everything I'm saying. It don't matter. Everything, all the above. But just know this, in real life situations, we deal with real life. We don't have time to waste dealing with fantasy and people giving you lies and inconsistency and telling you to believe in what they got going on, and that's going to help you. No, believe in what you have going on. Keep the faith with what you have to do, with what's right with you in your mind and in your heart, and put your best foot forward. I'm going to catch you on the next one.